We've decided to do some alterations to our patio, and we've bought a new arch to go over the steps, and it will sit on the patio. It won't actually be in the ground over the front of the patio. And we bought it from Robert Dyer's. It's a forest garden product, and we've been very pleased with these in the past, and this is the reason we went for it. And the wood is good quality. Now, one thing I did find irritating was that when we come to unpack it, they'd stapled together the bits that go over the top of the arch, and they were a bit of a devil to get out, to be honest. And luckily, I had this tool from my staple gun. There's no means of attaching the product to the ground or firming it in the ground, because the legs are pretty much the height is going to be as finished. So you're going to have either put a fence post in and attach it to a fence post, or you can get these stake things that go into the ground. You sort of hammer them in and then put the legs into it. You're going to need a drill and some step ladders, because it doesn't come pre-drilled, so you have to follow their instructions and measure out where the holes have got to go so that you can screw through and put it together. It's quite simple really, but it's a little bit of a pain. One thing that was annoying was that when I looked at the screws, I'm supposed to have some 80mm screws. And when I measured it up against the wood, I thought, oh, that's not long enough. So I measured it, and they're actually only 60mm. So what I did, I countersunk into the legs and just countersunk the screws in a little bit. Now, the attachment of the actual trellis to the posts I thought was a little bit flimsy, and I was a bit worried. This attachment here, it goes through the post and into those trellis pieces, which are not really that solid. So I've added some strengthening bits, because you can see them here, because I'm going to only attach it at the front to some posts that I'm going to hammer into the soil at the front of the patio. These are 2.4 meters long, so they'll go in a good sort of getting on for a meter. And if I find they become loose, I'll cement them in once I can get to it and the plants are all down. Overall, as usual with forest garden products, I'm really pleased with it. It's all about the quality of the wood and the design. I love their designs, and they always seem to have something that fits in. I've used the stuff before and never been disappointed with it. I bought some sugarcane, and I got this from the Audley End BBC Gardeners World live show, and I thought I'll give it a go. It looked quite exciting. This is the actual plant I bought. Now, they're not hardy at all. Any frost will kill them, and you've got to be a bit careful with them. But they are such a wonderful plant, and they look so tropical, and I do like this sort of reedy feel. It goes quite well with my pampas. Now, what we're going to do with it is we're going to leave it out during the summer and take some stem cuttings. Take about 30 or 40 centimetres of one of these stems, make sure it's got a few nodes on it, and they root very easily. Each node will sort of produce a new shoot on it, and we'll probably split the actual main plant as well. It must be kept above 12 degrees though, or they'll stop growing, and anything below 5 and you're in trouble. Now, the other plant we bought from the show was Verbesina alternifolia, and we bought this because it gets quite big, and we wanted some lush foliage, and it's kind of a perennial, and they like a clay soil, and this is the reason we went for it, a wet clay soil, and we thought we could put it near our gunnera, and it would maybe complement that. We wanted something to sort of hide the fence, and they form clumps. So you need to divide those clumps after a few years because they're quite a vigorous plant. But apparently it's quite rare in the UK. It's not a native plant. Apparently they're really good for pollinators. They have a yellow flower which is loved by bees and butterflies.